What? What? They say something, go!
For many years, Amara believed she was the luckiest woman in the world. She grew up in a small village where everyone knew everyone, and where people believed that family was the strongest protection a person could have. Her mother, Mama Aoife, raised her alone after her father passed away when she was still young. Amara always admired her mother's strength. She remembered how Mama Aoife worked long hours selling food at the roadside just to make sure her daughter never went to bed hungry. "Your happiness is my greatest achievement," her mother always told her. Those words stayed in Amara's heart. When Amara became an adult and moved to the city, she worked hard to build a better life. She met Daniel, a charming and hard-working man who promised her that they would build a beautiful future together. "I may not have everything today," Daniel told her on the day he proposed, "but I promise you that I will spend my life making you happy." Amara believed him. After their wedding, Mama Aoife moved closer to them because Amara wanted her mother nearby. She felt it was the right thing to do. After all, her mother had sacrificed everything for her. At first, everything seemed perfect. Daniel treated Mama Aoife with respect, and Mama Aoife always praised him. "My daughter found a good man," she would tell her neighbors. "Daniel is a blessing." Amara was proud of the relationship between her husband and her mother. She thought she had created the kind of family she always dreamed about. But sometimes, the people closest to us can hide the deepest secrets. Years passed, and Amara became one of the most dedicated employees at her company. She arrived early, stayed late, and gave everything she had to her work. Her dream was to buy a bigger house where she, Daniel, and her mother could live comfortably. One day, her company announced a major project. The person who secured the contract would receive a huge promotion and a life-changing opportunity. Amara worked day and night preparing her presentation. The day of the meeting arrived, and she stood confidently before the company executives. She explained her ideas, answered every question, and showed them why she deserved the opportunity. When the announcement came, everyone in the room celebrated. "Congratulations, Amara. The contract is yours." Tears filled her eyes. She immediately thought of Daniel and her mother. "This is the beginning of a new chapter," she whispered. She imagined walking through the door, holding the contract papers, and surprising them with the good news. She bought her husband's favorite meal and picked up a small gift for her mother. She drove home smiling, not knowing that her happiness was about to turn into the greatest heartbreak of her life. When she arrived home, the house was unusually quiet. "Daniel?" she called. No answer. She walked further inside. "Mama?" Still nothing. Then she heard voices coming from the bedroom. At first, she thought maybe they were having a conversation. She slowly walked toward the door, but when she opened it, the world stopped. Standing
What?
before her was her husband and her mother.
They say something, go!
Together. For a moment, Amara could not understand what she was seeing. Her hands went cold. The contract papers slipped from her fingers and fell to the floor. The two people she trusted most had betrayed her. Daniel quickly stood up. "Amara, wait. Let me explain." But no explanation could erase what she had seen. Her mother looked away, unable to meet her eyes. "Mama," Amara whispered. "How could you?" Her mother began crying. "My daughter—" "Don't call me that," Amara said, her voice shaking. "Not after this." She left the room and locked herself inside the guest room that night. She cried until there were no more tears left. The next morning, Daniel tried to talk. "It was a mistake," he said. "A mistake?" Amara replied. "A mistake is forgetting something. A mistake is making a wrong choice once. This was a betrayal." Daniel begged her to listen, but Amara noticed something strange. He was not only afraid of losing her, he was afraid of something else, something he was hiding. Over the next few days, Amara began noticing things she had ignored before. She remembered how her mother always asked Daniel about his plans. She remembered how Daniel and her mother sometimes whispered when she entered the room. She remembered how her mother once told her a woman should never trust a man completely. At the time, Amara thought it was advice. Now it sounded different. One evening, while looking through old family documents, Amara discovered an envelope hidden inside one of her mother's old bags. Inside was a letter. Her hands trembled as she read it. The letter was from Daniel, but it was dated years before their wedding. "Dear Aoife, I know what we did was wrong, but I promise everything will work out. Once Amara marries me, we can keep our secret forever." Amara felt like she could not breathe. She read the letter again and again. The betrayal was not new. It had started before she even became Daniel's wife. She confronted her mother. "Tell me the truth," Amara said. "How long?" Mama Eve covered her face and cried. "I was lonely," she whispered. Those words shocked Amara even more. "You were lonely. I was your daughter. I trusted you. I brought you into my home." Her mother lowered her head. "I made a terrible choice. A choice that destroyed my life." Mama Eve admitted that after Daniel began visiting the house before their marriage, he became close to her. She said she knew what they were doing was wrong, but she was afraid of losing the comfort and attention he gave her. Amara looked at the woman who had raised her and felt like she was meeting a stranger. "What hurts the most," Amara said, "is not only what you did. It is that you watched me love him. You watched me build a future with him while carrying this secret." Mama Ife cried, but Amara knew some wounds could not heal with tears. That same night, Amara packed her belongings. Daniel stood at the door. "Please don't leave. We can fix this." Amara looked at him calmly. "You broke something that cannot be repaired with apologies." She walked away. After Amara walked away from the marriage she once believed would last forever, many people thought she had lost everything. They whispered behind her back, "How can a woman survive after such a betrayal? How can she trust anyone again?" Some even felt sorry for Daniel and Mama Eve, believing Amara had abandoned them after one mistake. But what they did not know was that Amara was not destroyed. She was rebuilding. The same woman who once cried on the floor after discovering the betrayal was now standing stronger than ever. The contract she had won became the beginning of a new chapter. She poured her pain into her work, and within a few years, she became one of the most respected people in her company. She bought her own house. She created a peaceful life. And for the first time in many years, she learned that happiness did not depend on someone else choosing her. Meanwhile, Daniel and Mama Eve thought they had finally gotten what they wanted. They moved in together after Amara left. At first, they were happy. Daniel told himself that he had made the right decision. "I chose the person who understands me," he said. Mama Eve believed she had finally found someone who would take care of her. But they forgot one important thing. A relationship built on someone else's tears can never bring true peace. Slowly, the excitement disappeared. Daniel started remembering the woman he betrayed. He remembered Amara's kindness. He remembered how she supported him when he had nothing. He remembered how she defended him when others doubted him. Now, the woman who once loved him completely was gone, and the person he chose was no longer the same person he imagined. Mama Ifa also began to see the consequences of her actions. The neighbors who once praised her started avoiding her. People whispered whenever she walked past. The woman who betrayed her own daughter. The mother who broke her child's home. The shame became heavier than she expected. But the biggest punishment was inside her own heart. Every time she looked at Daniel, she saw the pain she caused her daughter. Every time she remembered Amara's face on that terrible day, guilt followed her. Then, one day, Daniel's life began to fall apart. The company he worked for discovered that he had been hiding financial problems. He lost his job and struggled to find another one. The comfortable life he imagined disappeared. The bills started piling up. The man who once left Amara because he thought he could find something better now found himself missing the woman who stood beside him during difficult times. But Amara was no longer waiting. When Daniel called her, she answered calmly, "Amara, I made a mistake. I need your help." She was silent for a moment. Years earlier, she would have rushed to save him, but she was no longer that woman. "Daniel," she said, "when I needed honesty, you gave me betrayal. When I needed protection, you gave me pain. I hope you find peace, but I cannot carry the consequences of your choices." She ended the call. For the first time, Daniel understood what he had truly lost. Not just a wife. He lost a woman who loved him sincerely. He lost someone who believed in him. He lost the future he destroyed with his own hands. Months later, Mama Eve became seriously ill. She had no one to care for her. The daughter she hurt was the person she wanted to call, but pride stopped her. Finally, she wrote Amara a letter. "My daughter, I know I do not deserve your forgiveness. I destroyed the trust you gave me. I allowed selfishness to overcome the love a mother should have had for her child. I cannot change the past, but I pray you find peace." When Amara read the letter, tears filled her eyes. She remembered the woman who raised her. She remembered the sacrifices. She remembered the betrayal. Both memories existed together. After much thought, Amara visited her mother. Mama Ife cried when she saw her. "I thought you hated me forever," she whispered. Amara sat quietly beside her. "I was hurt. I was angry, but I don't want your mistake to control my heart forever." Mama Ife held her daughter's hand. "I lost the best thing I ever had." "Yes," Amara replied softly. "You lost a daughter's trust, and trust is not easy to rebuild." Mama Eve nodded through tears. She finally understood that forgiveness did not mean pretending nothing happened. It meant Amara was choosing peace over bitterness. Years later, Daniel lived with the regret of his choices. He watched from a distance as Amara continued to succeed. She became a woman admired by many. She found happiness again. And the greatest lesson Daniel learned was this: a person who destroys a loyal heart for temporary pleasure may one day spend the rest of their life wishing they could return to the moment before they caused the damage. Because karma does not always arrive with noise. Sometimes karma arrives quietly. Sometimes it is waking up one day and realizing you lost something priceless because you failed to appreciate it. And sometimes the greatest revenge is not watching your enemies fall. It is becoming so strong that their actions can no longer break you. Amara did not win because Daniel and Mama Ife suffered. She won because she found herself again. And that was the one thing they could never take away from her. The end.